live? And we're live. Morning thoughts, morning thoughts, morning thoughts. We're starting off a bit early this morning. I know people probably won't be in for a minute. However, we'll go ahead and they'll just have to watch it later. Lessa Steph, thank you for being here bright and early. Shout out to the people going out to work this morning. Shout out to the people coming in from work this morning. Extra special big up shout out to the people who work multiple jobs. Shout out to entrepreneurs, stay at home moms and pops, my retirees. Shout out to the drivers, the Uber driver, Lyft driver, truck driver, taxi driver, food delivery drivers, round town and long distance truck drivers. Shout out to the crossing guards, the school bus drivers, the school teachers. Shout out to law enforcement personnel, medical field personnel. Shout out to whatever your job description is, construction worker, heavy equipment operator, from the chefs in the kitchen to the man who sweep the streets and pick up the garbage to the people them who work in the highest corporate offices. Big up to each and every one of you. And thank you for being here this morning. We're starting off early this morning. Okay, I'm looking at the screen now. People are here. Every time I start this early, I think nobody is going to show up, and you do show up. So it shows that you guys are up early too. Not true? Yes, sir. So we start the day off naturally by giving thanks first and foremost, and then we move right into the topics. No delay this morning because this one is going to be quite lengthy. I have two topics that are extremely important, and I know you're busy. You probably don't know about them. I don't know if you know about, well, somebody said yesterday, SouFLo, please get into the discussion about the 20 years sentence for children who commit murder and the 20 plus 10, 30-year sentence for adults who have found to be the ones who recruited the children into a gang. I'll get into that at some point this morning. I promise you it's on the list to go right after something else, which I think is more pressing. Jamaica's diabetes problem is one. And then there is the new ACP EU agreement, which is another one. The ACP EU agreement, I'm going to have to do a big old disclaimer before I even go into the topic because it's pretty touchy feely, if you know what I mean, right? Remember to like the live. Hey, Marilyn Grant, I appreciate you greatly. Shout out to you and thank you for being here, family. Shout out to Lessa Steph for being the first one in this morning. Audrey Wright's here. Big up yourself. Says morning fam and present teacher. Lisa Watkins is in the building this morning. I appreciate you being here. Darlene Walter Riley is with us this morning. Lovely Aneka, thank you for being here this morning. Lovely Aneka. Y'all go over to Lovely Aneka and check her out, her content, see what she deals with and all that. Kaz Robinson is in the building. Kai Tai Jai Empress bright and early. Senior Sexy. Audrey Wright is here. Purple Royal. Sharon Spence is in the building this morning. Audrey Wright says, hit the thumbs up button as you enter the live, please, and thank you. Live through Erica TV is also with us this morning. Thank you for being here, family. And Elaine Brown, Marilyn Grant, Perlis123, Sharon Dixon is here. Sharon Dixon, thank you for being here this morning. British Jamaican girl is in the building this morning as well. Lovely Aneka says, SouFLo, the Mahak McCard and F save in a Google. Me just subscribe back again. Me find another way to pay monthly cause them a red pan. Yeah, we in those times. Lady J, be careful with your cards online. I am so afraid of using my cards online, but I'm finding out that the way the world is going, I think they want us to live online. So they're making it so that everybody have to go online. Good example here. Every month when I try to pay certain bills, like for instance, Florida Power and Light bill, Florida Power and Light says you can get online and pay through your computer. I'm one of the people that don't like using my card all over the place because if you're a good hacker and you hack into somebody's system and you have all their information to include card numbers and everything else, that's the people who they drain your account and you have to go get a whole new ID or they assume an identity in your name and it's a hassle to even get back out of it, right? What I noticed Florida Power and Light doing is when you go to the website to actually pay your bill, they make sure that the website does not work. It doesn't load. You're there for like an hour waiting for it to load to pay the bill. It doesn't load. You have to log out and log back in and all this other stuff. So the next option will pop up is for you to go out a road, go down the street and find a physical location that you can pay this bill at. Nobody wants to do that now in 2023, right? So that's your next option. And then the third option is just auto pay it and put your credit card information online for them to just bill it automatically every month. Well, they force you into it. And another thing is once they force you into it, they could pretty much just bill you any which way they feel like billing you. Any bill you have that's on auto pay, you normally don't really check it every month. You know what I'm saying? So you're wondering, why the hell is my light bill $450? Why is my light bill? Oh, damn, my light bill was $500 last month. You're catching that light bill $500 in July. You don't catch that till December, you know? So you get robbed. You don't know. It's just a whole thing, but they want us online. They want us online. That's the way the world is moving. It's moving to us being online. You're going to live online. You're going to work online. A lot of people are earning their living online right now and not even having to leave the house. You shop online. They start to close down more malls and more brick and mortar stores. It's delivered straight to your house. Just online living, right? So be careful with your information online. That's just a warning. Dorothy T said, it's also a good idea to buy gift cards instead of using personal credit cards. I don't know about that one. I wasn't aware of that. See, I'm learning something new. Each one teach one. Dorothy T says it's also a good idea to buy gift cards instead of using personal credit cards. Wow. I'll look into that because I hate using my personal cards online. And the reason why I hate using my personal cards online, so I have military accounts, right? And they're extra protected by your banking institution. So every little thing that I do or try to do or anybody else try to do to my account, it's like red flags go up. Then the bank is like, oh, we just discontinued that card. We're sending you another one. I'm like, man, I just got a new card like a month ago. Now I'm sending you another one and another one and another one. For about a year, I probably go through the bank changing my cards about 3, 4 times per year, which can be pretty annoying as well. You can't use a gift card for monthly subscription, Lovely Aneka says. Makes sense. I didn't think you could. Yes, live through Erica TV, and we don't have a choice. Resistance is futile. That's where we're at. Resistance is futile. Let me put my glasses on. These lights are blinding my eyes. When you see me, I'm already me tired, but nothing wrong with them. I'm feeling good. Give thanks and praises to the Most High. I really want to get into this this diabetes something, and then of the EU. Please, I'm gonna be a bit long-winded on the EU. I will try to read as fast as possible, but then break it down in layman terms so we are all on the same page. Man, snakes are striking. You have to keep your grass cut low, else you won't see them coming in, right? Check it out. Let's start out with this one. Let's start out with the Jamaica diabetes something. Y'all remember not too long ago when I told the audience, I said I was in Jamaica for a function and I looked around and I saw one person in a wheelchair with both legs missing. And after that, it's like seeing a car for the first time. Like the first time I saw a Tesla was Justin Bieber driving a Tesla. And then after that, I just couldn't not see it anywhere. I'm like, oh, there goes another one. Oh, until I got home, and it's like, okay, they're all over my city. There goes more, one there, one there. It's like once you see something, you can't unsee it. So I remember specifically the moment I saw a man sitting in a wheelchair with both legs missing, and I drove away from that event and go down the road, and I see another person, legs missing. Then I see another person, one leg missing, the next person, another leg missing, next person, both legs missing. So I started saying to myself on this one trip, I started saying to myself, damn, there's a lot of people in Jamaica with missing legs. What the hell is going on? Okay, you see, when I was in Jamaica growing up, right, and for the years I kept going back from the US as a child until I was grown, I only knew one person that had one leg missing. And he had his leg missing in an accident, and his leg was missing before I was even born. So Mas George used to live up at the hilltop. Everybody from where I come from know him. tall red man that had one leg. And it wasn't because of diabetes that his leg was missing. And I got to learn that later on as I got older. But seeing so many people in Jamaica now with their legs missing, I was like, this looks like a freaking epidemic. How come so many people are losing their legs? This is weird. Speaking of this, my grandmother, she lost her legs. She lost one leg, and it didn't have anything to do with diabetes. And it was towards the end of her life as well. She lost a leg about 94 years old. So she lost that one leg due to, they have a saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. People get older, they start to sit around a lot more because there's nothing for you to do when you're not as active. So in my grandmother's case, she just sat around too long, too much. And a blood clot developed in her leg, in her lower leg, that started traveling up her body, and it was cutting off, it blocked the main artery that carries oxygenated blood to the lower half of the body in that particular leg. So the leg itself started not getting any blood supply. And then she got up, walked around, bumped her toe, and the toe got uh, infected. Well, she was like, yeah, I just bumped my toe and it bruised. So I go wait till it get better. Well, I remember my mom going to Jamaica right after I went because we were like switching out, everybody going down after each other to make sure that someone is always there, always checking in. And my mom called and she was like, "Hey, did you look at your grandmother's foot when you were here at her leg?" I said, "No, grandma was sitting on the veranda most of the time and she had her legs covered up with a blanket. So I didn't, our culture, how it go already. You don't go move your grandmother blanket looking at her feet, right?" And she was in good shape. She got up, walk around. She can cook her own food and everything. My mom says, "Boy, that leg that don't look good. It's turning black. Like it looked like a leg that would need to be removed." I said, "What?" I just went there, talked to her. Everything was good. My cousin called like 2 days later. My cousin was like, because he was the one in Jamaica now. He was like, "Yo, grandma leg has to be removed. They said either they remove the leg or she's gonna die. If they leave her with the leg, she dies. If they take the leg and she's unconscious, so she went into a unconscious state. So there's nobody there. Next person to make a decision was him, and he's consulting everybody else. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Because he's pretty young, and everybody is like, man, if that's what it is, remove the leg. A testament to her fighting spirit, though. She even made jokes after after it happened. Them gone with my leg. Them gone with my foot. And I'm like, she's laughing, and we're more worried than anything else. So I said, "Grandma, how you feel about them gone with your leg?" She said, "Tell you the truth, I wasn't really ready to go yet. I wanted some more time here." And she got her more time with the leg removed. And then at the end of her life stage now, which was only like a year later after she removed the leg, a year and a half later after she removed the leg, I remember my last visit to her. She passed away right after. My last visit to her, she said, "I'm ready now. I'm ready now. I'm ready to go now." Yeah, I remember giving my daughter, Milani, baby girl, was in the room with her. And in my spirit, I'm happy because I'm like, man, my daughter looked like my grandmother. And look at the cycle of life. My grandmother is leaving, and my daughter is coming into the world, and she bears my grandmother's resemblance so strong, right? And I remember my grandmother said, "She afraid of me. She had seen her before, but this time my daughter was a bit standoffish. And my grandmother said, "She afraid of me. I said, "Grandma, she not afraid of you. She see you before, she okay." She says, "No, man, she afraid of me. She know when somebody's sick. I'm me sick." I said, "Damn." And looking at my grandma, I just looked at her and she looked like she was already transitioning. And she passed shortly after. Kiss her up, tell her I love her is all I could do, and then walk out the room with like heavy burden feeling kind of on me or whatever. But she said she was ready to go. So her amputation was not from diabetes. So you could still end up with an amputation. I said all that to let you be aware that you could still end up with an amputation. So anything that increases circulation in your body, you might want to get into that. Anything that Exercise, basically, basic exercise. You stop using it, you lose it. Keep moving, keep moving. A body in motion stays in motion, pretty much, right? Now back to this though. The bitter reality of sugar. Because in Jamaica we call it sugar. You got the sugar, which is diabetes. A bitter reality of sugar. An amputee sends a poignant World Diabetes Day message. Kingston resident Keisha Siblis, she was diagnosed with diabetes at 13 years old. 13. She lost a leg to the disease, which is affecting the lives of millions of people in Jamaica and burdening the healthcare system, not just in Jamaica, across the Caribbean and across the world. In 2019, according to the World Health Organization, 1.5 million lives were lost to diabetes globally. 1.5 million. The Caribbean has one of the highest prevalence rates of diabetes in the world, with many individuals unknowingly living with the condition. Factors such as genetics, lifestyle, and limited access to healthcare have contributed to this alarming rise. I think I'll add to that, but the article didn't say it. I think eating outside of our traditional norm has also contributed significantly to that. Siblis, she's 44 years old. So, diabetes in the world, with many individuals unknowingly living with the condition. Siblis is 44 years old. And while diabetes can be hereditary, it can be contracted through persons' eating patterns, drinking patterns. I see somebody says stop drink the rum. Eating patterns, drinking patterns, and overall lifestyle. She has sounded a dire warning to Jamaicans, telling her fellow countrymen and women that there is nothing sweet about sugar. Let go the fast food, is what she's saying, and start cooking healthy meals again. Let go the fast food and start cooking healthy meals again. Now, of course, when we get on our, let me tell you how the world works right now. You should be aware of this. You get on a platform, you say, let go the fast food. Guess who has their guns aimed at you right now? Because you're trying to get a population of people to let go the fast food, right? But you must remember that there is a group of people who own a lot of fast food places. And this is how they earn their money. They live their lifestyle. They send their kids to private schools and they drive nice vehicles and they have a surplus in savings and their lifestyle is secured financially by the same thing that's killing you. So when you have warners that come out and say, let go the fast food, all guns are aimed at you, right? So don't look for me. If you do too many of these videos telling you about Lego the fast food so them can shut down my channel, right? But you should know these things. I would put it this way. I would say everything in moderation. Some people get carried away. Some people like Burger King and then they're at Burger King every rotted day. Them forget to them can't eat kalaloo. Them forget to them can't eat drink some porridge in the morning, some peanut porridge, some cornmeal porridge. Them forget to they can fry 2 egg. Them forget to them can, it's just McDonald's every day, Burger King every day, cause that's my favorite thing and that's what I like. KFC every day. Moderation, everything in moderation, right? I remember an elder said to me, I don't have no specific routine, I indulge in everything, but it's just a little bit of everything. So everything in moderation, and it won't hurt you. But the old saying, "Too much of one thing, good for nothing." So the elders ain't never wrong. They knew what they were saying. Too much of one thing is good for nothing. So when you start overloading on carbs constantly, spiking your blood sugar, overloading on a bunch of sugary sweet drinks, and overloading on excess amounts of salt and all these other things, then come the problems. Let go the fast food, she said, and start cooking some healthy foods. Eating healthy doesn't mean to expensive either, but a trip to the doctor can be expensive. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, in his contribution to the sectoral debate in Parliament in May, said that an estimated amount of 236,000 or 9% of Jamaica's population has diabetes. 236,000. I think that is freaking ridiculous. 236,000 Jamaican. This is the health minister talking. He says 236,000 or about 9% of Jamaica's population has diabetes, and only 106,000 of those persons, or 45%, are aware of their status. Could we put that up to them not going to the doctor on a regular basis to get a checkup? Here we are talking about this again, right? Because same thing for prostate cancer and all these other things. Some of these things that are very treatable if caught in its early stages, but once it's past those early stages, then it's like you might as well start planning a funeral kind of thing. And no matter how much I tell this to our brothers, them still give you the whole, no, no man, no put no finger up in my body, me, you mean prefer dead. And then the last stages of life for them is like, oh God, I wish I did do it, I'm not ready for go yet. But if it's God's will, get up and go to your doctor, man. Get up and go get a full checkup at least once a year. You owe it to yourself. Get a full checkup at least once a year. Everybody want to live long. Nobody want to get sick. But most people don't want to go to the doctor on a regular basis just for a checkup. Just for a checkup. A complete checkup. Not one of them you go to some doctors and they do this, and I have to say this too. You go to some doctors and they do this. Them feel you up like this. Them take out the stethoscope, them put it by your chest, them put it by your back, them say breathe, breathe again. They flex your knees and extension, flexion, knees, ankle, elbow, and then them tell you get up and pat you on your back. Good shape, you're in good shape. No, not that kind of a checkup. I don't check up that. That's that checkup, and I realize that a lot of doctors do that. You need an in-depth checkup. You need a complete blood work. I forgot how many panels it is. Some of the medical people in here can put me on to the number, but I forgot how many panels on the blood work it is, right? And not just blood work to Dorothy T, it's a specific blood work that covers a certain number of panels, which allows them to see anything that's in your system or any problems that might be on the rise in your system. It's a 21. Roxanne McIntosh, I appreciate you. Thank you. I think it's a 21 panel blood work. That means they're looking for every and anything in your system. Yeah, blood pressure too high. It look like you have too much sugar in your blood. Are you getting blood in your stool yet? Have you seen blood in your urine? Because this over here is off, which usually indicates that there might be some blood in your urine or in your stool, which presents other problems. Obviously, this, that, and the other. It's a 21 panel blood work. That's what it is. I appreciate you, Roxanne. Thank you. So I get that done every year for sure, like clockwork. I'm encouraging you to get it done too. And I'm telling my people this. Stop using excuses about why them something that too expensive and them. Nah. You spend a lot of money all year long on foolishness. Get you a little bottle. If it's that much of a deal to you, get you a little bottle and put something in it every month towards your doctor bill for your checkup if you don't have good insurance. Some people have insurance, it comes through the job, or they just pay into their insurance and invest in their health. If you can't do all that and you live in a place like in Jamaica where it doesn't come with a job, you're not employed or you're self-employed, wherever you're at, get a jar, drop a couple dollars in there every month, right? And at the end of the year, just know that is the money that you're going to use to pay the doctors to do that 21 panel blood work and a complete checkup. Stress to your doctor, I need a complete checkup. One of the things I'm adding to my checkup as well while I'm at this and I'm talking to you, I'm going to add a brain scan to my checkup. Now, that's a bit drastic, but I'm going to add it. Why? Because aneurysm kills a lot of people every year, right? And the only way you're going to find out if there's something going on that could lead to an aneurysm, you know, it's through that type of a scan. So I'll add that to mine starting this year or starting next year. But I'm encouraging y'all to go get a checkup. Back to this though. This is the health minister of Jamaica talking. An estimated 236,000 Jamaicans have diabetes. Only 106,000 of these persons are aware of their status. Additionally, Dr. Christopher Tufton said that 95,030 have one or more complications related to the diabetes already. And them just dragging along like, yeah, the whole of me would stop work. That, for us men, that's when we start getting panicky, right? Is when you can no longer kickstand. When you call it a kickstand, when you can no longer kickstand is when they panic and they're like, oh, damn, Lord God, something wrong, something gone with me. So at that point, you're looking at advanced stages of issues, right? Look at your big belly. Yeah, you have a little belly on you, is okay. People age, your body ain't supposed to stay chiseled and fit your entire life like that. Some people go overboard to make it look that way, and then society tries to tell us that that's how we should look, right? You got a little fat on your bones, that's okay. But when you're a man and that belly look like it's 9 months pregnant, so you literally, if you look straight down and you can't see your organ, your dung, that's an organ, and you can't see a belt that you're wearing, if you have a belt on, you have problems, right? I don't know. Start out from basics, like what your granny used to do. Get a washout from basics, and then start to build back from there. But you're heading for problems if you start to have all that. See, I know nowadays people are like, yeah, I love my big belly man, I love my man fat and something like that. I don't know about all that. I don't want my wife to tell me that. I'm very self-conscious. I'm very self-conscious. And as much as I'm aware that I'm aging and I'm putting on a little bit of weight here and there, and then it's harder to take it off and whatever, I don't want no 9-month pregnant looking belly upon me because I know the implications, health implications that goes along with it. So back to these numbers again. Let me say them one more time. An estimated 236,000 Jamaicans have diabetes. 106,000 of those are not aware of their status. Additionally, 95,030 have one or more complications of this diabetes already. These complications, based on expert advice, are likely to lead to amputation, chronic kidney disease, oh God, renal failure, man. That's a whole nother ball game. And heart attack. But the renal failure there. Live through Erica TV says at SouFLoTV, my fluffy is getting on my nerves. See, me don't want my wife call me no fluffy or blouse or skirt. Me cuss bad one. Don't call me fluffy, and I don't want to be fluffy neither. I'm a Jamaican man. Fluffy is reserved for the woman. Woman supposed to fluffy. You understand? Me don't want no tough woman. Anyways, my wife be going to the gym. She go hard working out. Yeah, I want to lose weight. I think I need to lose 20 more pounds. I'm like, chill, stop. You good. You don't need to lose no more. I mean, if it make you feel good, then go ahead. But I'm telling you right now that what I'm looking at, that's a whole meal all day, every day, right? With everything else, the trimmings will come with it. You not a snack, you a whole meal. She can fluffy. Me no want fluffy. Life through Erica. I your man y'all call Fluffy, my girl. I hope he's not a Jamaican man, and I hope he doesn't see this, cause I not think none of we want our woman to call us Fluffy. Yo! Me love my fatty. Pipe on the body. Me love my call him fatty and fluffy. Oh God. Don't do it. Don't do it. But yeah, back to the serious talk though. The man says these complications are going to lead to amputation, chronic kidney disease, and heart attack. That chronic kidney disease is no joke. I've seen it up close and personal. When they have to flush all the blood out of your body, if you put back blood in your body, these people are usually weak as hell and they do it once a week. And that's like your life depends on it until you pass away. So don't go around doing these things and getting yourself in these situations that are preventable. The disease can adversely affect both and not to mention your eyesight. Your eyesight. It takes away your sight as well. I've known people, I've worked with people in therapy that have lost their eyesight completely, gone blind in a world of darkness. Imagine living until you're like 55 and then boom, you go blind and you've had sight your whole life. That's a rough adjustment, you know. Some people go into psychosis because it's like you're trapped in a room that all the lights are off, it's dark in there, and you can't get out. Then you're gonna have to adjust to that living. So, Dr. Joyce St. John, executive director of the Caribbean Public Health Agency, said that the burden of diabetes is not limited to mortality. This disease can adversely, in other words, then it's not you catch diabetes, you're dead. It's more like you catch diabetes or you have diabetes. If you don't handle it properly, then you will live suffering before you die. This disease can adversely affect both the quality and the length of your life and that of your family as well. Of course, because if you get really sick like that, you're going to need somebody to take care of you or help you with things. If you are diabetic, following your treatment regime and keeping your blood glucose and blood pressure, glucose is the sugar in the blood, right? And blood pressure under control are important to avoid serious complications of the disease. Among us, finding out you have it or if you don't have it is the first step. And again, a lot of us, especially in our culture, men, we tend to not want to go get checked. So we don't know until it's too late. Go get checked. Find out if you have it, if you are borderline diabetic, if you are all the way diabetic, whatever the case may be, and get on some kind of treatment plan that's advised to you by a medical professional, preferably your doctor. I would want to go into the schools. This is what she said. Her situation, unfortunately, this is at 13 years old. You're diagnosed with diabetes at 13. I used to work with a guy at Pepsi, one of the odd jobs I took, at Pepsi. And he was 20, like 25 or 24, and him always have to wear this thing that went into his body, and a slim tube came out of it, and it's attached to something that looked like a beeper from back in the day, and he would like pump his insulin that way. And I saw it one day and I asked him, like, what's that? It looks weird. I never seen it before. He said, I'm diabetic. I've been diabetic since I was like 6 or 7. And I'm like, damn, there's really a lot to be thankful for out here. I mean, what do you tell somebody who's been diabetic since they're 6 or 7? So he was like, yeah, man, I've battled this my whole life. It's just normal now. I know what to do and whatnot. And I'm thinking he's a young guy. He has a wife and he has children. And I'm like, damn, I'm pretty sure it affects everything else as well. So just one of the things that I witnessed. So this person said, I want to go into the schools and give pep talks because I see where things like cup soup are being sold in some of the tuck shops and the kids buy them for breakfast. You ever look on the back of one of them cup soup there? You ever look at the ingredients in one of those cup soup? You ever look at one of them ramen noodles packs? Let me tell you, right? And I learned this from a person who does bodybuilding. He said he wanted to bulk up, but in the process of bulking up, his he got into a medical crisis because he would do a whole big tub of ramen noodles and use the noodles to bulk up. But what he was doing was he would eat like 6, 7, 8 packs of ramen noodles. The guy is huge. He would eat like 6, 7, 8 packs of ramen noodles, right? But he would use the 6, 7, 8 packs of stuff will come with the ramen noodles, the seasoning. Now, if you look at one of those and the level, the content of sodium in one of those, imagine a person taking in 5, 6, 7 of those at once. That's what he was doing. So I'm almost dead. He was actually hospitalized. He was having issues like he was having a cardiac arrest, heart attack. Funny thing is, the other day, he actually had a real heart attack. And this is years after he told us about how he found out about that. Recently, he had a heart attack. If y'all know of Cali Muscle, go look at him. That's who I'm talking about, and you'll see how big this guy is. So anyhow, that was his advice. His advice was if you want to bulk up in your weight training and that's the look you're going for, use the ramen noodles, just the noodles. Don't use the packs. Don't use the salt packs that come with them. It's that serious. Anyhow, this person said they want to go into the schools because they see in Jamaica they're serving in the tuck shop the cup noodles for breakfast. The kids are buying them and they're having the cup noodles with that high sodium content, like 500 milligrams of sodium in the morning, early first thing. Nothing about that is healthy. We see a lot of sweets and unhealthy stuff being sold outside the clinic gates, and that's not helping us all. For those who don't have diabetes, there are ways how it can be prevented, and it starts with educating yourself about it. Avoid certain foods. At the same time, Sybilis has sought to encourage persons who are living with the disease not to give up on themselves. Take your medication as it is prescribed and eat as healthy as you can. Cut down on your salt intake, cut down on your sugar intake and unhealthy fats, and start an exercise regimen. Diabetes doesn't have anything to do with age. So remember, you are not too young and you're not too old. You know, some people feel like, well, me reach 45 and 50 already, me good. If me never catch it before, me can't catch it again. No, there ain't no age limit to this. You could be 60, 70, 80 and have a new stamp of diabetes introduced into your life. And don't think you're too young. Over there, I'm 18, I'm 19, I'm good, I'm frisky, I'm ready to go and get diagnosed with diabetes at 20 years old. So, in other words, then, it's not a respecter of age. You understand? It's not a respecter of age. Dorothy T says foods with preservatives. Shelf food. See, that's why I'm telling most Jamaican people, especially the ones them that's in the countryside, y'all don't know how good you got it. Especially the people them who own a piece of land and them have food on the land. You know, that's one of the beauties about being in Jamaica to me, especially being down a country. I see it at town when they're at town too. Some people have them little piece of land behind them house and them plant up whole heap of something on it. Enough to supply their family too. But you don't see it like that until you reach like country. When you reach down a country, you know, food dash way. Just everywhere you look, every tree almost is bearing fruits. Fruit everywhere, vegetables everywhere coming up out the ground. I'm like, yo, this right here is just medicine, medicine everywhere. And people drive past all that and leave it for rotten. And birds and animals come eat it and go right to KFC and go right to Burger King and go right. And now it's a cultural thing now. It's been woven into our culture now. If you can't afford Burger King and KFC and this and that, then you're nobody and nothing and go on for you. You know what I mean? I think we need to get back to our roots. I'll end this segment by saying this. An elder said to me a long time ago, whatever it is that you ate growing up, you need to stick to it. You see, if you come from the porridge generation and the yam dumpling and banana, dasheen, breadfruit, cocoa, them the kind of something that you pick your orange and apples and these things off of the tree, and you know, mix up little susumba and you know, something, and then cut up your fresh vegetables, steam down some cabbage and some carrot and them thing there. If you come from that, stick to it because it's actually woven into your DNA already, pretty much. And anytime you start going against that and introducing something new into your system, your whole system is going to go out of whack. It might take a while for it to go out of whack, but eventually it's going to go out of whack. You're not new generation. I don't know them new generation pick me here, them grow up on cup noodles and all this, and then make it straight to the NBA and the NFL. And you not built like that. You come from a different time, eating something completely different or a different culture. You understand? So when you start introducing new stuff into your system, there are going to be adverse effects to it. And I kind of stick to that. I try my best to stick to that. Audrey Wright says, don't realize how good we have it then. Real organic food. You know, remember how we used to say, Jesus Christ, man, them yellow yama, white yama, pum pum yama, and this a beer ras yam in the plate. Tired of this now. You know, say yam became my favorite food after I left Jamaica. Them used to kill me with yam because my grandfather plant yam. And growing up, I was like, God, like I was telling wifey, she's from Westmoreland. There by them have water, sea. Them live by the sea. There's everybody in Westmoreland, they're right by the water. Them live by the sea. So seafood is their thing, right? Lobster, shrimps, all that. And I was telling her that I'm from Clarendon. We never eat seafood. I had never ate crabs until I met Shakira. Never. Never had a crab. Never had lobster until I met her. I had shrimps every now and then, like pepper shrimps, but seafood was never my thing. Rice, I didn't grow up eating rice. Rice was only eaten in my house on Sundays, and it was rice and peas, right? With whatever grandma cooked for the meat that Sunday. It could be rice and peas and some brown stew chicken or fricassee chicken or rice and peas and roast beef and these kind of things. And she used to roast the beef very different from how them cook now. And it was our cow beef come off of the roast. It was our chicken that we raised that was cooked. If we eat goat, I did few goat kill where we have curry goat and these things. So come from a different time, right? Didn't eat any of that other stuff that they're eating now. I mean, used to complain because Sunday alone, me get rice and peas. Me do want rice and peas 7 days a week because I only Sunday me see it. unless it was curry chicken. If it was curry chicken, you know, say a white rice, I'll get that with. But that was that. You know, and now you look at it, you're like, damn, what I wouldn't do to be able to wake up every day and eat the same way how I was being raised. And I'll tell you the truth, living in the US, it's expensive. It is expensive to eat that way. To eat that way. You could find better food, yes, than the 99-cent ramen noodles and feed pan that every day. Of course, that's going to hurt you, but you could find better food that's a little more healthier. But nowadays, everything is modified in some way or sprayed down with something or mix up with something. I'll give anything to just have what we had before. You know, you grew up with luxury and didn't even know it. But I said this also on this platform before. Remember me said this? I said when Jamaica starts importing more than it's exporting, then will come all the health problems from overseas as well. You're not only taking on their dietary practices, you are also taking on all the adverse effects that comes with their dietary practices. It's common here in the US to see people amputated. Common. It's common here in the US to see diabetes. There are diabetic clinics all or dialysis clinics all around us, right? There are cancer centers all around us. I don't know, them put two in my city recently. A diabetic center open right there. So I literally point here because it's like right here. A dialysis center, a new one. There was already one down the street right there. A new one open right there. So, and then two cancer centers open right here. I'm driving around. I'm starting to think to myself, why are they opening all these dialysis clinic and cancer centers around here? There's a spike in the population. People are moving here. The city has grown tremendously within the last 3-4 years. Maybe that's that. And they're anticipating the flow of people. Wherever the population is large, you know, so there's going to be people among that population who are sick. They need help with, you know, these kind of things. So maybe that's that. But my sinister mind was thinking, I wonder if something not going on that they're not telling us. I wonder if we're trapped in some kind of a thing where they're going to make sure that we supply these places. So I don't know, I should say I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned. But to my Jamaican population who don't have all these luxuries, like a dialysis clinic right here, and I kid you not, if I pull out my driveway right now, I hit that dialysis clinic in less than 5 minutes. Less than five. The other one, I'll hit that in about 5 minutes. So in Jamaica, them not have them kind of stuff here, high tech dialysis clinic right next to where you live and all that. Y'all better start taking care of yourself because I see the end result and it don't look good. We see people overseas amputated and they get way better treatment. Some people are even able to starve off the disease or starve off the the bad side effects and end up preventing an amputation. You know, Granny used to say prevention better than cure, you know. All right. I'm going to leave you with that one. Prevention better than cure, you know. Warning. Carthage Empress says, I get up at 2 in the morning to take my dialysis patient to dialysis. See that? At 2 in the morning. Onika St. John says, yup, I work with 5 endocrinologists and they are booked and busy. Diabetes is an epidemic. Audrey Wright says, you notice the ramen noodles that they flood us with is not the same noodles that they themselves eat. I've noticed. Mervyn the Point, Jamaica Kerr, SouFLo. Me on your page. Worked on design for more than 6 hospitals on one street in Central Florida in less than 4 months. Dorothy T says, God no make no mistakes. All the bush is medicine. Yes. We come a foreign, my friend, and we forget so we can drink like a Cersei. All when the Cersei are grow, those of you who live in Florida, Cersei shouldn't be hard for you to get. Because anybody will own a little yard, will have a fence, or you see a neighbor or somebody down the street, even if you don't have a yard. If you live in an apartment, just go in the neighborhood them where you see people yard fence off, look good. I bet you see a whole heap of Cersei. Go knock somebody door and say, excuse me, do you know what this is? You no, I don't. It's bush. We gonna cut it off the fence anyways. You mind if I'm going there and wrap up some of that and dry it? I just took a whole bunch of it off my fence, and I have this big plant blocking the first window to my house. And it was covered this summer, the end of the summer into where we're at now, fall. The Cersei just come up wild and just cover it. Hear me now? Right at my front door. I said, look at God. Look at God reminding me, say, youth, a time for cut out some of the sweet something where I eat. The seasons are changing. Remember I told y'all I take a wash out every time the seasons change? Right. The seasons are changing. And God does provide a whole heap of Cersei right there for me. Right at my front door. And they sell it here. If you go into any of these Caribbean stores, Cersei is sold in the packs. Some like a pack, $2 feet, and it grows wild. Round here. So I have a whole heap of Cersei. I just pick a whole heap of it, put it down, dry it, sun it, and now it's gonna be Cersei time again. So we reach far enough forget so we can drink a Cersei tea in the morning and these things. A lot of us was trying to get away from Cersei for a long time while we were growing up. Hear what? That's what you need to return to. Not just Cersei, but all the other things as well. Fresh, straight from the ground, living as well. All right. Audrey Wright say, yep, me drink mines all the time. Dry it and store it. Yep, I have 2 big bundles right now in the garage. Me just finished dry them. And I'm going to start working on it. Plus, when we go to Jamaica all the time, shout out to Auntie Cutie them. Them always make sure so we have fever grass, me have soursop leaf, me have I have jars. Wifey put them out in jars and label the jars, big jars. Now, some of them may not even know what they are. Them have to tell me, say, yes, this is good for your blood pressure. This right here, so we settle you down. This right here, so we clean you out. This right here, so we'll. So, yeah, that's why it's important. Also, and I encourage you to stay in touch with your roots, man. Stop running away from where you come from. Someone on the throw stone back on or run gun in a people foreign country, take on them whole lifestyle, and then you start get cyclical later on. Moringa, super good moringa power plant, and you forget. You've assimilated into other people's culture and you forget. And then you start, sickness start take you. And that's when you're starting to run around, try to remember what granny did say and what mommy and daddy did say and what them used to give you. Stay close to your culture because in that is health as well, right? Guinea hen may have that too. Right now, I have that. When I had a COVID, babe, carry two of them jar they come give me. Please. If you're not busy. I hear her moving around out there. She usually silent. We can't hear. See them here? No joke thing. So I say wife, bottle them up and label them. Real thing. So this right here, this is the soursop leaf them. Right, Tessa? This right here, this is neem. This. I find when I drink the neem, mosquito don't bite me up, and I'm one of the people them who a doctor said there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of sugar in my blood naturally. Me not have no issues with that, like high blood pressure or no sugar, diabetes issues, but neem, right, Tessa? And we have a bunch of these, right? There are more up there, and so on and so forth. So when we go to Jamaica, this is how they take care of us, and we come back foreign looking like this. So when I'm telling you, it's not me making stuff up to get views on social media, it's me telling you how I'm living and encouraging you to live somewhat like that. See? All right. So I'm stopping on my back. All right, let's go. Want to take them back for me, babe? Thank you. No, drop it. Neem in a COVID time, right? The neem, right? Yeah, Shabang, a little piece of something this morning. All right, I'm gonna go back to this now. So, diabetes don't have anything to do with age. So remember, you're not too young and you're not too old. All right. With that said, we're moving right along. We can't beat that to death. We just want the people to know, say, be aware. There's something else here now that we're gonna talk about. All right, so back out of the room, wife. Oh God. Onika St. John says, I have a neem oil bug spray. It's good for you internally too. Hope the big pharmacist not listening. Oh yeah, right, Darty T. Well, we just encourage the people because of that we do, you know. No, but we're not telling anybody that that's what they must do. That's what they must do. Onika St. John said, focus. I'm trying. I don't know why she put that little stuff on, but I know why. That's what I like. All right, check it. Yesterday, somebody said, SouFLo, you know, see what I go on with this new ACP EU something. I had no idea what that was. I went and do some research. Then I found selling off Jamaica's sovereignty. GOJ set to sign the new ACP/EU agreement. And then up to the time, Jamaica backed out of it. And their headline yesterday was, we're not for sale. So I went and looked it up since one of my persons here brought it to my attention and said, SouFLo, you need to discuss this for Morning Thoughts. What is this thing? And Jamaica is having to push back on all this. This is where I told you this is going to get pretty lengthy. So stick with it. I'll try not to make it boring. Yvonne Wallace says, yep, I creasy cinnamon, mint, and lemongrass soursop leaf from Jamaica. I grow that what I can during the summer. Interesting about ingesting neem. Going to try that. Neem is bitter. It's bitter. That's one thing with us. We want everything to taste good. And everything tastes good, meaning it must taste sweet or it must be salty and sweet. Well, most of the things that are actually good for you are either sour or bitter. So you have to start to get your mind geared right to ingesting sourness and bitterness, because most of your medicines come sour, bitter, bland, that kind of taste, right? Lauren says, SouFLo, the more we eat closer to the earth naturally, the healthier we will be. I agree with that too. But like I said, I'm no preacher because I partake of everything. I just had pizza the other day. Pizza and wings. Stuffed crust pizza and wings the other day. So, and I had pasta with shrimps as well the other day. So, it's everything in moderation. And I'm a person that like a burger every now and then too, with fries and all that. So I'm not coming up here telling you, oh, I am a strict this and I eat strictly that. And I'm not that. I partake in pretty much everything, but do it in moderation and know when it's time to. Your body will give you signs. Your body will give you signs if you've been drinking too much lately, if you've been consuming too much salt lately, if you've been consuming too much sugar lately, you'll start to see signs. Just watch your body, listen to your body. When you start feeling anxiety in your chest, when you start see your skin break out, when you start seeing certain things, just listen to your body and then back off of these things. A discipline do it, really and truly. Discipline. Some people, you see them get big, and them look a certain ways. The discipline that they lack to stop consuming certain things and just switch to something else, and then you end up paying with your health, your life. Because health is wealth. Remember, I know. You don't care how rich you is, how much money you have, and all that. Once that health starts to fade, every person I know that's been sick, terminally ill, if you ask them, they would tell you, I would give up everything I have, man, just to be healthy again. That's it, just to be healthy again. So if you have health, take care of it, right? All right. This whole EU something. Rights groups, individuals are urging the government in Jamaica to sign the new EU pact despite concerns that were raised. Walk with this. I'm going to go fast just to make it not boring. Syndicate of 6 organizations and 11 individuals in a pushback against the Jamaican government. Decision delay signing of the new African, Caribbean, and Pacific ACP European Union or EU Pact, the Samoa Agreement, on November 15th, saying that the administration should do an about face, turn around, and sign it without entering any reservations and without further delay. They're forcing Jamaica to sign it, right? The call comes after the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, last Friday, in response to the outcry Thursday from Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society, or JCHS, over Jamaica's pending ratification, indicated that the government will delay signing the agreement to facilitate ongoing consultations, but would still participate in the meeting of the ministerial councils as customary. We're going to show up to the meeting still, but we're not signed the paperwork there yet. This needs to be vetted some more. First, we need to understand what some of these languages you guys have put into this paperwork is. Y'all stay with this. Because while we out here busy talking about Ice Spice, Batty, and which girl and Sexy Red and this entertainer and that is some real stuff that's going on right under our nose, right? The JCHS, which is the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society, the JCHS, in a statement to the media last Thursday, expressed their concerns that the agreement will bind Jamaica to undefined human rights obligations that are tied to trade sanctions. Reintroduce comprehensive sexuality education, CSE, back into the schools in Jamaica, despite Jamaican parents' outrage in 2012 with the same thing with regards to CSE's sexualizing content. Trap the nation in yet to be negotiated international instruments and demand the acceptance of terms, that directly threaten citizens' freedom of conscience and speech, among other alarming concerns. So, long story short, we have money to give. You want money, you sign paper. Sign paper has lots of stuff on paper. Hopefully, you don't read the paper yet and sign first. There is the Jamaica Coalition for Healthy, or the JCHS, who is in our best interest, who took the time to go through it and say, listen up, some of this language in here, you notice the part where they say undefined, that means I'm going to define it for you later after you sign it. Yeah, and then it will be imposed on Jamaica. And because you signed the agreement, you're going to have to put these things like this curriculum into our schools, so on and so forth, right? The proposed new agreement is not unprecedented in its scope, as the same subject areas were covered in the article of the Cotonou Agreement of 2000 to 2020. So there was another agreement that was similar, but that agreement was known as the Cotonou Agreement, and it lasted from 2000 to 2020, and which was extended to 2021. They further dismissed concerns for the JCHS about the absence of the definition of human rights. The JCHS is saying, okay, so how are you guys defining human rights? We have to know all this before we sign them paperwork here. In the agreement, despite some 100 references to the terms in various clauses, nothing completely defined. The consortium, in objecting, said throughout the text of the agreement, references made to relevant human rights instruments. The JCHS has been at pain to point out that while historically the agreement have focused on trade and economic development relations, the new agreement is unprecedented in its extensive coverage from trade and development to data protection, war crimes, terrorism, the violent extremism, illicit trade in drugs, education, health, food security, social inclusiveness, youth, culture, environmental protection, climate change, human rights, democracy, gender equality, human trafficking, among other subject areas. It further expressed discomfort with what it said is the concept of human rights by the EU's definition. To enter into a 20 years binding agreement with the EU without a national consensus on the nature and content of human rights renders Jamaicans vulnerable to any definition that is imposed by the stronger party, which is the EU, without input from the citizens of Jamaica, the JCHS said. Listen now, JCHS, please continue to stand up for us, yes? Because enough of we out here blind and too busy. And who know don't care until it's too late. Then we're bawling. How who do this? The Samoa Agreement is the successor of the Cotonou Agreement, Partnership Agreement, the principal development framework through which Jamaica and other organizations, for those of you who are knowing, what's SouFLo rambling on about? What is this agreement? What is it? What it really do? The Samoa Agreement, in a Samoa, them are going to sign it, is the successor to the Cotonou Partnership Agreement, which means it will take over. The principal development framework through which Jamaica and other organizations of African, Caribbean, and Pacific states have obtained grants, funding from the EU, European Union, since the year 2000. In other words, the European Union say, yeah, we're rich, we have money to give, and we'll give this money to the organizations of African, Caribbean, and Pacific states, but you have to sign this agreement. And in this agreement, it says if you take the money, you have to do this, that, and the other. It's like buying a franchise to a restaurant. You can't buy a KFC and then start serve where you want to serve in there. You, KFC is sold as franchise. So is Burger King. So is McDonald's. So is all these franchises. It comes with a list of menu and how things should be prepared and served and all these. And you also have people who go around and they'll pop up at your branch that you purchase to make sure that you're falling in line with, or else you can mess up the whole chain of the brand, right? So basically, it's the same thing that's going on here. Money they here, them have the money to give. And if you know anything about grants versus loans, loans you pay back, grants you don't. So it's basically like saying, here's a lot of free money on the table, Jamaica. You can get it. Come on and get the money. And that alone have a lot of Jamaicans saying, so what the problem? Me not see no problem. What, them concerned about people's sexuality more than them concerned about get some money and develop the country better? Sign the something. I'm going to dive deeper into this for you. They're dangling the money in front of us. Yeah, come get it. Here's the paper. Come get it. Sign right there. Take the money. However, the syndicate in the statement said, having read the actual negotiated text, we see no departure in the text from the existing United Nations and other international declarations, programs of action, platforms for action, agreements, and conventions to which Jamaica is already a signatory. That's what they are saying. We don't see no difference in this from what you signed off on already. Jamaica is like, no. Or the JCH, the people who are protecting us, they're like, nah, we see big difference in this, buddy. Furthermore, we see no departure from the spirit and intent of the immediate past EC/ACP, the agreement, the Cotonou Agreement, which served as the framework for development cooperation and trade between the parties for 21 years up until 2021, without injury to the sovereignty of Jamaica. We therefore call on the government of Jamaica to sign the agreement without entering any reservations, without further delay, is what the group says. Organization, organizations listed among the signatories or people who have signed include We Change JA, Eve for Life, Stand Up for Jamaica, Equality for All Jamaica Foundation Limited, Sistren Theatre Collective, and Jamaica Environment Trust. Individuals listed as signatories are civil society advocate Carol Narcisse, who's a blogger, Emma Lewis, gender and development advocate Judith Wedderburn, artist Stephanie Martin, not Steve Martin, Stephanie Martin, gender and child rights advocate Joy Crawford, gender and governance advocate Deborah Duperly Pinks, founder of Jamaica Environment Trust Diana Macaulay, civil society advocate Horace Levy, convener of GROOT, GROOTS, Jamaica, Lana Finnegan, gender advocate, a whole heap of gender, this gender, that gender advocate. How much gender advocate there, Jamaica? Hillary Nicholson and development consultant Patricia Donald Phillips. Crystal G. Let me make my disclaimer before I go any further. Because this both get a little bit deep. Whatever is said in this comment section is not necessarily the host chain of thought or thoughts and ideas. We have an open platform. People are allowed to speak their minds. I just ask that they not be disrespectful or harmful in their approach with their comments, right? But with that said, we honor free speech and we honor respect towards each other. Plain and clear, move right along. After that was printed, here comes Freedom Comerain. Selling off Jamaica's sovereignty. GOJ is set to sign the new ACP EU agreement in Samoa. They were warning us that they were about to sign this. We weren't paying attention. And it said that the government in Jamaica is set to sign a comprehensive new binding 20 years agreement with the European Union, despite repeated calls by several citizens groups to the glaring dangers of multiple clauses in this pending African, Caribbean, and Pacific, or the ACP EU agreement. So they were about to do it. These are whistleblowers, right? The agreement will bind, this is what it would do. It says the agreement would bind Jamaica to undefined human rights obligations tied to trade sanctions, general pact, reintroduce comprehensive sexuality education, CSE, back into Jamaica's schools, despite Jamaican parents being outraged from 2012 about this. Take that out of the school. Regards to CSE's sexualizing content, Art 48.7 Caribbean Pact trap the nation in yet to be negotiated international instruments and demand the acceptance of terms that directly threatens the citizens' freedom of conscience and speech, among other alarming concerns. For 27 months, the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society and 7 other Jamaican NGOs have been impressing upon the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade to take heed of the obvious threats to Jamaica's national sovereignty in this grants and free money thing, yeah, and what we do. Frustrating efforts of the groups in trying to hold dialogue with the government's decision making. This article was printed saying that Minister Kamina Johnson Smith and others were going to go right ahead. They have tried to get a meeting with the Minister of Education and all that. They weren't able to, so they blew the whistle. And they're like, these people are about to go right ahead and do this. They're going to go right ahead and sign it, right? I'm not going to read too much into their article. That was just to tell you what it was going to do, but break it down further. Yesterday now, which is the third article I'm in now, I was happy to see the headline says not for sale. But when it said not for sale, this is how it was printed in Jamaica's news. Like this. It was eye-grabbing. It catch my attention because the first thing I thought, them paint the whole of Jamaica in a Rasta color. How that? And then bar it like not here kind of thing. That is the don't smoke or sign or something. Don't sit here, don't do that here. So when I see this, first I thought it was Rasta colors. Then I looked closer. I said Jamaica Rasta color, red, green, and gold. Seeing where purple and them other color they are doing it. Oh, okay. So this is what the person did call me and tell me about. So the final decision was made that they would not do it. So Jamaica actually backed out of the deal after much pressure from watchdogs who are watching on Jamaica's behalf. Let's break down what this all really means. It says, we understand that and we understand the pickle that the government is in Jamaica. So the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society, JCHS, in praising the government's decision to stand down because they were trying to get them for the longest to please don't do it. Look at the language. They looked like they were going to do it up to the last minute. So now the JCHS are praising the Jamaican government's decision to stand down on ratifying the new African, Caribbean, and Pacific ACP EU agreement, the Samoa Agreement, on November 15th. That's tomorrow. Today is the 14th. And yesterday, them finally said, okay, we'll stand down. Says, while it knows the financial gains that are derived from being a part of this to various European Union pacts, the country cannot afford to barter its sovereignty and our children for money. We understand that, and we understand the pickle that the government is in because, you know, them want the money, but at the price the money comes with. But nonetheless, it is good to say that we reserve, because what we would be doing is we would be handing over our sovereignty and our future and our children's future to these people for money. For money. We must be able to say we don't agree with certain things. This is what the head of the JCHS, Dr. Wayne, big up Dr. Wayne, Dr. Wayne West, told the Jamaica Observer on Sunday. We are not against trade. We are all for trade. But these types of things have never been linked to this agreement before. And this is a new strategy by the European Union. This agreement has been from the days of Michael Manley standing, the previous one. But the EU is now introducing this social, ideological component, imposing it on the ACP countries. So we hope that other ACP countries will say, let's do trade. But we won't be a part of that other stuff where you have a guan deso. What this is, right? Remember the other day I said, when you vote, you have to come off of the labor right, JLP, PNP, something. In the US, come off of the Democrat Republican thing because you could vote for a Republican president and vote for Democratic city council, head of city council, or Democratic mayor for your city or Democratic governor for your state, even though you voted for a Republican president, vice versa, right? What it is, you have to pay attention closely to what's happening. So Ron DeSantis in Florida, in the state of Florida, our governor Ron DeSantis, he shut down them introducing or putting real Black history being taught in school. Contrary to popular belief, real Black history has never been really taught in school here because all it starts from is slavery. We all know that Black history, African American history began way before slavery. That was just a small part of things that happened along the journey, right? So a lot of people were up in arms because all the media came and gave us is he just shut down putting real Black history in schools. And everybody is like, why the hell would you do that? Oh, I know why. Because they don't want everybody else to know that we come from greatness. They don't want the youths to know we come from greatness because if they know that we come from greatness, then they'll start to act different. Act different means they'll stop filling your prison institutions, your juvenile facilities, blah, blah, blah. People are go on and on a reactive kind of way. Me, myself, I don't do that. I'm a words person. I said, let me go look at the paperwork and I'm going to read it through, no matter how lengthy it is, for myself to have an understanding of what's happening. Lo and behold, there it was. So in order for you, this is how they presented it, like this. Here is the African American history, full history to be taught in schools. We took that, we said, yes, nice. But you can have that in the schools if you add this right here with it as well, and that must be taught in the schools as well. And now we're looking at this that came with it, like, why we got to put this in the schools to have African American history, real history taught in the schools? This has nothing to do with this. Matter of fact, I don't even think I want my kids getting involved in all this. But why did y'all attach this to that? That's what was happening. Nobody was taking the time to explain that to John Public. So everybody out here, Black people are mostly in arms. Yo, fuck Ron DeSantis, I hate him. You could tell he a racist. They didn't even understand what was going on. So when you break the language down of the paperwork, it says your kids are going to go to school and you're basically going to lose control of what it is that they're going to be taught when it comes to sex and sexuality, right? So it'll be out of the hands of you, the parent. That means a teacher can take it upon herself or himself to introduce sex language to your children in any which way or form your mind might go with it. Is the open language that it was. And that's why he was like, nah, If you want to put their history in school, I'm all for that. If you're going to attach this to it and tell me that that's the only way I could get it in, then I'm shooting it down. It's not going in. Right. So over here now in Jamaica, it's the same language that's being spoken. Come get this grant. It's not a bill you're gonna end up with. It's not a loan. You don't have to pay it back. They make it salacious, Come get this. It's looking pretty. It's the icing on the cake and everything. The fine print language says when we go to school, the reality, I'm reading it for you right now. The man says we're not against trade. We're all for it. We're all for trade, but these types of things have never been linked to this agreement before. The reality is that if we allow the EU to get away with what they want, parents in Jamaica will lose control over their children from the time they get to school because the children are going to be indoctrinated in the schools about these various ideologies. This is a part of it. Put this into your school curriculum is how you get this money. Oh shit. Yo, I'm thinking about that right now. That's deep. That's kind of conniving. And if you're not careful who's in power, they'll be like, yeah, man, just put it in there. Sign off. Gone. Where the money there? The reality is that if we allow the EU to get away with this, what they want, parents will lose control over their children from the time they get to school because the children are going to be indoctrinated in the schools about these various ideologies, about being transgender and being LGBTQ. This is what I'm reading right here about being transgender and being LGBTQ and just generally having a nihilistic approach to sexuality. So, this is one of the objectives of that agreement. They want to indoctrinate, educate, and force into the children these things. This is what the JCHS said. Why is this attached to it? We're all for trade and all the other stuff. And he says, not only that, if you follow what is happening overseas, you will see that the schools are beginning to take away the rights of the parents. In some places in the United States, for example, a child can go to school and a teacher can allow the child to go through a transition without telling the parent. That's what they want us to do here in Jamaica as well. The parents are going to lose control of their children. They're going to lose the right to say what the child should be because they are going to use the school and the teachers and so on to impose their ideology on the children. And we have to resist this, Dr. West said. He is, however, wary. So, to the impact that the government's decision to withhold its signature at this time will have, if any. Our understanding, he said, is that the time for making these amendments has passed. So we really don't know how the government is going to approach it. Ain't no amendment going to be made. As far as he understands, the time to make amendments to this agreement have passed. That means it stays the way it is. Jamaica is holding out for right now. Will there be a deadline to sign to take a part of this or not? We don't know how the government is going to approach it, Dr. West said. Adding that Jamaica is not the only government that is not signing this. He says that Namibia has also indicated concerns over the same issues that we are concerned about, which is basically imposing that same ideology plus abortions, so-called human rights, and indoctrinating our children in school with comprehensive sexuality education, which is really teaching the children pornography and presenting it as acceptable. And that behavior can be as nihilistic and as anarchist as people want. He heard that another one of the two African countries may not be signing it as well. And we are still waiting for confirmation, but possibly also Rwanda and Uganda may also not be signing this as well. Article 99 of the convention, in respect of duration and revision, says The parties may submit proposals for amendments to this agreement to the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, OACPS/EU Council of Ministers, no later than 6 months prior to the meeting of the OACPS/EU Council of Ministries, no later than 6 months. Any amendment shall be approved by the OACPS/EU Council of Ministers and be subjected to the procedures laid down for the entry into the force and provisional application of this agreement. It further adds that the OACPS/EU Council of Ministers may refuse to give its consent for an amendment deemed not consistent with this agreement and shall notify the relevant regional council of ministries of the reasons for its refusal. So if Jamaica goes to them and say, we agree with everything else on there, just take out this part right here, they are going to say, nah. That's if we take this part out right here, we might as well just cancel the whole deal. They have the right to say that, and they reserve that right. The agreement, which is scheduled to be signed in Samoa at the upcoming ACP/EU ministerial, has been described by the JCHS as a comprehensive, new, binding 20-year agreement with the EU that will reintroduce the rejected CSE curriculum back into Jamaica's classroom and undermine Jamaicans' fundamental rights and freedoms. Last week, the JCHS, in a last-ditch attempt to reason with the Andrew Holness-led administration, issued a statement which capped 27 months of advocacy in which it urged the government to reconsider the glaring dangers of multiple clauses in the pending treaty. The JCHS said that the agreement will bind Jamaica to undefined human rights obligations that are tied to the trade sanctions, reintroduce this whole CSE agenda back into our schools, despite Jamaican parents already saw this in 2012 and them lick out against it big time. And now they found another way to put it back in our school again. It was removed because of the response it got largely from Jamaican parents, citizens, concerned citizens. I'm not going to go any further reading this. There's a lot more to be read in this article. I will leave the links. If you go to Observer, Jamaica Observer, big up to them. If you go to Jamaica Observer, just type in "not for sale," Jamaica Observer. It's going to give you the whole lengthy article. You could read through that. The other article you read before you read that one is called Jamaica Observer again, Pushback. All right? Pushback as in one word, Pushback. And you go through it. Let me summarize all this for you so you understand what this means and how me feel about it. Y'all know how I stay already. I'm one of them, and I'll make my disclaimer again. I don't give a damn about your sexuality. You respect me, I respect you. I've served my years to the government, right? Um, Alongside people who are of whatever persuasion they choose to be. And a lot of them are openly open with it. And it has never offended me or it has never prevented me from being a part of a team to accomplish whatever mission needed to be accomplished. I draw a line when it comes to my babies. I draw a line when it comes to my children. See, here's the thing. I don't want somebody else looking at my child and saying, I think it's time to introduce sex and sexuality to you. The fuck? How? Without my consent as their parent? I don't see how that is productive. So as far as school goes, please, if it's going to be about sex in school and sex education in school and all that, my belief is that it should be at a level of biology, anatomy and physiology, and that's where it stops. I don't think it's okay to strip parents of their rights. It's always been the right thing to contact a parent first and have parental approval before you do certain things with children. So I feel like certain things that are going on is overstepping that boundary. And as a father of six, I can't just sit and be like, sign it. I mean, we send mines. No, because then my kid come home looking confused, don't want to discuss with me what you introduced them to, and then somebody else is introducing more stuff to them, and before me know it, my child is fully indoctrinated in something they weren't even intended to be indoctrinated in. Young, impressionable minds. You got to understand that children look at their teachers as the ultimate authority figure next to their parents. Some even look at their teachers as more of an authority figure than their parent is. So when teachers end up with this type of power to strip parents of their parental rights and introduce this type of stuff to the children, that's dangerous, bro. I feel like that's just a field that we should not be walking in. You know, I don't know. I mean, I see it being done everywhere already, but I hope free speech protects me on this one for me to say I don't want my children being introduced to certain things without my permission or my consent. Talking about babies here, right? Right. So, for those of you who busy, don't really know what's going on, these are the things that are slipping right past us on a daily basis, and we don't know. You understand? It's happening. And then we're so busy. Some of we work 2 job, 3 job. We dress the kids, we send them off to school. Think about this. You dress your kids, you make sure them look nice, them clean. No matter no inna them yeah, no booger now fall out of them nose. They're well fed. You send them off to school. You hope for the best. You pray. And they go there, and then that's what's taking place there. So your child comes home, and your child is confused. But somewhere in the language of their delivery, your child knows that mommy and daddy never talked to me about anything like that before. That's weird. My daddy always said if anybody said anything to me about this or that, or mentions this or uses this language or says that, I should come tell them. But that's what they did in school today. It's important to ask your kids, how was your day? What did you do in school today? And yeah, they're gonna tell you, well, because that's how my daughter does. Well, I got to school, I had breakfast, I had a bowl of cereal, and I had a Pop Tart for breakfast, and then I went to class, and yeah, and encourage them to keep on talking. And then what? Yeah, what did you study? What did you learn? What did the teacher say today? That kind of stuff. Dig in there, dig in there, because I think what some people are hoping is that we're so busy and caught up as parents that we don't have time to dig in there to find out what's been taught. What did you learn today? What was introduced to you today? What were the topics y'all spoke about today? What was new today? My daughter says, same old, same old. We did the same old thing. I said, same old like what? If it's same old, I want to know. Same old like what? Math, English, what else? Have that conversation daily. Reserve 5 to 10 minutes of your time as parents, grandparents, because you're around the kids too. Have that conversation with them daily and hear what comes out. Live through Erica TV says, how you know? They're trying to keep us busy with all the bills and stuff, but that's the way society is designed. You know, everything expensive. People got to work to survive and hustle to survive. And we're running from here, there, and everywhere. We're trying to accomplish our own goals and dreams while raising these children. Price a go up on everything except for your paycheck. So you got to find another way to get another dollar in. And while you're chasing the dollar, your children are going in a whole different direction. You don't have the time to just sit, chill, ask simple questions that could have clued you in. And by the time you look up, you're looking at a whole different child. And you don't recognize your child. I've seen this happen many times. Kaz Robinson says, have you ever thought that the abuse of children goes further than the few they have in jail? It's multi-million-dollar organizations. The grooming off. Honestly, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. But this is where your responsibility as a parent comes in. You know what I mean? Don't infringe on anybody else's right. You notice I don't call any particular group name. I'm not infringing on anybody else's right. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody else. I'm just concerned about my child and my children. And it is my parental duty to be concerned about my child, my children, and their rights, and my rights as a parent, and my responsibilities to my children to protect them from things that I think are harmful and dangerous to them. That's your parental right. That's your parental duties. Life through Erica TV says, yes, I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone's belief or that way they choose to live their life. Yeah, I don't. And yeah, me and everybody good. I don't have no problem with the way anybody choose to live their life. Just leave me my right to my children. Once you touch the kids, we are treading on thin ice. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy out here. But I'm just putting y'all, man, putting you on so y'all know what's going on. Kaz Robinson says we should be concerned about all children because what affects one affects yours. Now, here's the thing, Kaz. Like this. Even the other day, me and wifey was, we talk about these things all the time. Say, for instance, your kids go to the park, right? I see parents at the park with small kids. Parents go to the park and they feel like when they go to the park, it's time for them to pull out their cell phone and scroll all the different social media sites while their children run off and play. And they don't even look to see who their kids are playing with, where their kids are at on these large playgrounds. I'm built different because I was raised different. So I said to wifey the other day in a patois, I say, yeah, over there on your phone, somebody have your picnic under one of them jungle gym, they have finger out the picnic hole, and you don't even know it. Because here what? You got to think of the world like this, right? Everybody goes through things, and some kids go through a lot of things. You know what I mean? And what children learn, they end up exhibiting that behavior back out. For instance, if a child is being molested, that child will probably start touching other children inappropriately, that kind of stuff. So you gotta be out there watching your kids, watching who they're playing with on the playground. Watch them other kids, because you don't know them other kids' background. You don't know what goes on in their house. You don't know if they have a touchy-feely uncle over there where I teach them some inappropriate stuff, or touchy-feely auntie where I teach them some inappropriate stuff, or a close family friend that the family trusts that told the child, shh, it's our little secret, and all these things. And then they start to, what they've learned from them, they start to demonstrate that on your child at the playground. So I'm looking around the playground and I'm seeing these adults lost in their tablets and lost in their devices. And I'm like, that could never be me. That could never be me. Wherever my child is at on that playground, I'm right there. Once I see my child playing with somebody, I back off a little bit, right? because we live in a funny world, and you don't want people thinking, "Oh, is he watching my child? Is he one of those kind of people?" No, I'm watching my child because my child is playing with your child, and I'm watching my child to see what's gonna happen here, there. Once them look like them, I play like little children should play. I listen for the language that's being used and everything. I back off a little bit further and a little bit further. Still always in eyesight. I know when they go to school, we're not there. That's why this irks my nerves so much, because when they are at school, we lose control as parents. So why take that opportunity to introduce something that is offensive to parents? This is a sensitive topic for any parent. The question of the day is, do you as a parent want another person, a school teacher, a stranger, introducing sexual talks to your child? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. I think majority of parents would say, hell no. No. That's my place to do that. And when I think the time is right to do that. You understand? Yvonne Wallace said, yeah, I used to see that on the trail all the time. This is time that they could be interacting with their children. Yeah, that's time they could be interacting with their children. And you know what? We've moved into this era, man, where it's not just kids that are stuck on their devices. Adults are too. Like I see this all the time. People be so glued to their devices, them love them device more than they love their children. Ask them, did you at least play with your children for 1 hour today? Just 1 hour. 30 minutes of something that child wanted to do. You interacted with that child. Nope. It's a TV or a tablet or a phone or something that's raising that child. And again, that's where a lot of the other stuff is being put. Remember, I told y'all I sat down one time to look at some cartoons, and the inappropriateness that I saw in the cartoon, I got upset. I'm like, y'all better turn this shit off. Turn it off. What's this y'all watching? And my kids were like, Dad, it's on the Cartoon Network for children. It's not adult stuff we're watching. I'm like, that's adult cartoon. That's not children's cartoon. But cue up the tablet, give it to the child, go, move, bye. Yes. What? Oh, okay. Their children don't even make them smile. Their device does. You know what I'm saying? The child is a bother. You're breaking up my romance relationship with my device. I'm deep in some Instagram stuff right now. I'm deep in some Facebook stuff right now. What? Okay. Very short-tempered for their children, but have all the patience in the world for their device. You know what I mean? I see it all the time, but that's the programming, and that's where we're at with the programming. So be careful what you're doing out there as parents, because it's going to affect your children in the long run. You know what I mean? Instead of and on top of that, these little secrets, sneak the scene, sneak that in, sneak that in. Okay, you've been warned. You've been warned. Pay attention. Now, if you are the type of person, let me end it by saying this. If you are the type of person who is all for this, then I applaud you. More power to you. I'm not over here telling you shouldn't. If this is what you want for your child, if you're out here saying, I don't care, I don't see any problem wrong with it, I trust the teachers. So what if they want to introduce that to them? I trust that they will keep it at a level where it's still that child's age group. And I trust that if that's what you want, don't look at me and say, I said you shouldn't. Do as you please. But for the parents who have a boundary, who says, nah, we raise different. That's not, you don't just jump in and start talking sex to people's kids, people's minors. We don't want that. For those who don't want it, then I'm riding with them. I don't want it neither, not for mine. If they reach a certain age, that's a whole different story. But we talking about the babies, no, I'm not for it at all. So to each his own is what this comes down to. To each his own. Okay? I vote Republican, you vote Democrat, or I vote Democrat, you vote Republican. Whatever the case may be, we vote. That's it. We move along. So to each his own. With that said, but that was just to let you know what was taking place, what that was all about, because it's long-winded in the printing, and I know a lot of you don't have time to go through all that. And this is how stuff. Who said this a long time ago? If you want to trick black people, put it in our book. Well, put it in writing. Put it in the newspaper in writing. Because everybody now is looking for a short little video that boom gives you everything in 5 minutes, and then boom, I'm back to scrolling again and looking at big booty girls and thongs on Instagram, or looking at big chisel chest bearded guys, or whatever the hell your fantasies are on Instagram. Everybody want everything to be spoon fed to them in 5 minutes or less. The real stuff that's happening out here that's affecting our lives, it's long-winded. It's printed with thousands and thousands of words, and you're gonna have to flip pages and read through it. And if you don't have the time for it, it's gonna pass you. So my advice there too is find you somebody who does that. I do that, and I bring it to you, so you are aware of it. Right? Roxy21, I appreciate you greatly. Thank you. Rash Jada said, them can't trick me. So, cause me love read and dissect. That's me. And that's how I'm able to put that to use. My love for literature, I'm able to put that to use on this platform. Cause any how it come across me, I'm never like, yeah, that them say, okay, come back over here and say the same thing to the audience. I'm like, yeah, really? Oh, all right. Let me write this down. Right down. Let me go over here and look up. Sometimes I end up with 10 different articles on the same topic. Like, damn, I gotta read through all these. Well, fix me a drink, sit right here, and I'm going through all 10 of them. I'm comparing who is the author, who published this when, what's their association to that. Let's see if them have any secret agenda. Why are they putting this out now? What is it connected to? You understand? Vetting the information before you deliver it. Fact checking and vetting before you deliver it. Right. Kata John Empress says, with all the bills and responsibility that black people have, I can see where it's difficult to find time to read and educate yourself because we're distracted by that, by bills, by life. Get up, go. Come on, you can't sit down. If you sit, you don't eat. Get up and go. This is also why I encourage people into entrepreneurship. Yeah, entrepreneurship is hard. It's rough work. It's nothing like have a secure job where you're told what to do, what time to come in, when to leave work, what time you go for lunch, or how long you can take lunch, and your pay scale is determined and set, and that check comes on automatic as long as you go to work. That's comfort. Entrepreneurship is different. It's the uncomfortable waking up at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning every day. It's the uncomfortableness of, damn, I'm working a 9 to 5 on the side of trying to do this entrepreneurship stuff. But I'm telling you, the rewarding part is you have time. Once your entrepreneurship kicks off, you have time where you can actually sit back and say, okay, I'm gonna do less of the 9 to 5. Got the entrepreneurship going. Now I have two streams of income. So, financially, I'm starting to be stable. It's not a headache anymore. Damn, the bills come again. I'll barely have enough. All right, let's see how I'm going to put this over here. That pay down upon that. That will take away some of that so them not cut off the light. That pays that. Don't have nothing left. Back to work again. It'll take away that part and it'll give you time to actually be able to sit sometimes and say, let me see what's really going on here. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. So I encourage entrepreneurship because it gives you freedom. One more thing before we start the next topic, and the next topic is going to be the 20 years. Yeah. So one more thing before we start that. It's let's just put it like this. You build the life you want to live. You build the life you want to live. And sacrifice must be made along the way. Period. If you're not willing to make them sacrifices, then just know that you're going to be living the life that somebody else orchestrated for you. Point blank. All right? All right. With that said, adult recruiters, kids warned against gang involvement. Senior Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Jeremy Taylor, King's Counsel, has warned adults who headhunt children for gangs, as well as children who allow themselves to be enlisted, to start thinking twice. Now, recruitment of a child into a criminal organization is an offense under the Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organizations Act. Adults who recruit children will from now on be given 20 years sentence in prison. And if you recruit these children on the grounds or in the vicinity of a school area or any other educational institution, you will get a automatic addition of 10 years to that 20 years. Right. They're starting to tighten up on the laws. So I come here and I tell the audience about, yo, the US tired of uno, on scamming something. Them stop giving 5 and 7 years now, right? They came out yesterday or day before yesterday and they said it. We're giving them time is not enough time. We keep threatening them, oh, you're gonna get 15, 20 years, and then they come here and they end up doing 3 to 5 years. So all of them are like, Chuck, if I end up getting me a bangy line, me a choppy line, and if I get catch, I look a 3 year of prison, I'm gonna come back for my money. We need to start giving them years. So them slap 16 years with no probation, Panaman, to make an example out of him. And I said, if you want to go do 16 years in a foreign prison, knowing that these people are capable of finding you even in the bushes in Jamaica and handcuff and bangle you and give you a free flight out of the Caribbean island, then go right ahead and do it. That's a warning. Over here is another warning. They're changing the laws. They're changing the laws, as in before, nobody is really worried. They just talk about it. Yeah, you know, say the big man them where you see out there, you know, them are recruit the little youth them. Okay? Well, they're trying to make the laws have teeth now. And they're trying to figure out how to dismantle this whole thing. Crime and violence, something, because you know, we've always said it has many heads. It's not just the youths that are getting into it. It's adults that are encouraging, inveigling, recruiting these youths and putting them to work. Some of them youth here don't have no money for no gun. Them gun the expensive $500,000, $1.5 million for gun. If you do the math backward to that, you're talking about 4,000 US dollars, 5,000 US dollars. Now, the other day, Ramesh did a whole job fair, and Ramesh was charging what? Little bit of money, right? Was it 30, 40 something? And not even that much US. And everybody is like, oh, people don't have that kind of money. So where the youth them get $500,000 gun from, $1.5 million rifle from. Okay, adults are involved. So in order for us to handle this properly, we have to get to these adults that are getting to these children. You understand? $10 Ramesh to that charge, right? Kaitaja Empress, thank you. And them a ball about them not have no money. But they have guns. 500,000, 1.5 million. But you don't have $10 to go to a job fair. Anyhow, recruiting of a child into a criminal organization is an offense under the Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organization Act. Adults who recruit these children will be given 20 years. And if you recruit them on the grounds or in the vicinity of a school or any other educational institution, there's an additional 10 years to that 20 years. You don't kill nobody yet, you know. All you did was recruit the youth them. I say yes when I saw this. Leave the picnic them alone, make them grow. Taylor said in addressing the recent Ministry of Education and Jamaica Constabulary Force virtual anti-gang town hall meeting. The veteran prosecutor who was addressing the issue of the use of social media by gangsters to recruit youngsters was that this, listen, the use of social media to recruit gang, by gangs to recruit children was at pains to point out that the glory of gang involvement fades once there is an arrest that peters out with a conviction. Mhm. Everybody a gangster, I want be gangster, I mean I want gang, I roll with my gang and all this until prison time come. I know that nowadays when people are being recruited into these things, nobody thinks of the consequences. Nobody thinks, what if I get caught and get successfully prosecuted by the law? Once you have a gang charge, it's the hardest thing to get bail in this country, in Jamaica. Once you have a gang charge. Hmm. What he's saying though is that right now, nobody was before this concerned because the law didn't have teeth. So here we have young boys and girls, mothers and grandmothers, and so on now have to be running down the police station to bring you an extra pair of boxers and some toothpaste and like a toothbrush or to bring you some food. And on top of that, the police search up the food before you eat it. All kind of indignities that you have to suffer. Nobody is thinking about all that. Nobody is thinking, boy, if I actually get convicted, how long will I be locked away for? He further illustrated. You know, these are the things that we need for the young people to hear because me hear some man talk about, boy, prison of Jamaica not too bad still, you know. From your India, you have your G them around you, you're good. You see me? Cause remember, you know, when you lock up a foreign, you know, your mother can't carry your food come gear. But you see, when you lock up a Jamaica, my mother oxtail still reach me, my mother this and that still reach me. This man is trying to let you know that whoever is glorifying that image for you, them are left out some of it. Some of it is them dig up your food and mix it around and search it up. Them want to see if no razor blade in there. Them want to see if a Molly pill is in there or anything. You don't want nobody dip them hand in my food, stir it up and then shell out back my rice with them finger and do it all kind of way. If they want to be vindictive, then wipe them body with them hand and then stir up your food like that and watch you yam it. I'm just trying to add some deterrent to it. Okay. Like he said, now you put your whole family in a problem. Cause mommy or grandma or auntie or whoever if you run, come bring your toothpaste and toothbrush and run, come bring your liquor soap and run, come bring your this and that, bring your little food and we stir up your food and search your food before you get it. All these indignities you will have to suffer. And nobody's thinking about that. Nobody's thinking, boy, what if me get catch and them successfully prosecute me? In a direct address to youngsters who might be fascinated by the trappings of gangsters, Mr. Taylor said, I will tell you, 12 is the magic number. 12 is the age. Here in Jamaica, 12 is the age of criminal responsibility in Jamaica. So 12 is the age where an adult charge can be flung on you. You could be charged as an adult from as early as 12 years old. I don't think a lot of the youths them know this. And if you are 11, you still stand a chance that you may be taken out of your home and put in some place of safety or some place of detention because clearly the activities that you are up to, especially in relation to criminal organizations, you can't be out on the road mixing with law-abiding people. So those are some of the consequences people must think about before they go and run and join these gangs and think that it's easy money and it gives you power and social status. Think about all the other stuff that comes with it. Deputy Superintendent of Police Carl Berry, who also chairs the National Online Child Protection Committee, in commenting on the issue, said that gang members who have unrestricted access to the internet use and abuse social media platforms through recruitment activities and advertisement under the guise of dances. Under the guise of dances, stage shows, and other money-making enterprises. Hmm. Recruitment occurs in schools, but it also occurs on social media and impacts the schools. Director of the Safety and Social Security in Schools Unit of the Ministry of Education, Richard Thorpe, responding to the concern, said that the data of the Safety and Security in Schools unit shows that the schools that are located in volatile communities, those are exceptionally and extremely vulnerable to persons who are aligned with the gangs. Naturally, one on one is two, right? You live in an area that's considered gunman area. It's highly volatile. Enough people dead round here over the year alone. And the school them round here, most of the gangsters them round here. Of course, that's where they're going to do their recruitment from. It's very important in response that schools understand that beyond teaching and learning, beyond subjects, if we learned anything from COVID, it is that technology will always be a part of us. And for 2 years, we relied on technology to support the continuity of traditional learning when we were not engaging the students face to face. We are back to school now. I think schools have to reflect on their telephone policies because we have to find a way to teach our children how to use the cell phones. In arguing that banning the technology use in school, which is cell phones, cannot be the solution, until we help our children to effectively use technology, they will always be victims of misusing technology because they post things online that they should not, and it makes them vulnerable to all manners of evil. So it comes with a recognition that we have to revisit the issue of the use of technology in some schools and how do we teach our boys and girls to utilize such tools for the continuity of learning. Boy, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I hate to say it, but there's a whole section out there in porn world that has nothing but Jamaican gal picnic and school picnic, all in the classroom. Big brawling daylight, jammings and rammings are gone. I was so friggin' ashamed when I first saw it. I said, what the like the gone are the days when anybody cared about your school uniform and boy, if you have on the blue bush jacket that them know say a Knox you come from, nobody gonna do nothing in your Knox uniform. Not no more. Them left school, down a banana walk, them gone. And one is filming and two is jamming and yo, all in at the classroom, you know. And then the bad part, the worst part now is, well, it bad and worse already. Them a do it and a school picnic them. The worst part now is them take it and post it on social media for the world to see. Who you think's watching? You see how far this goes? Who you think's watching? The same people they're talking about, the adults that want to prey on children. From them see you in that light, a teen in that light on a video. It's too easy now to go connect one on one and say, all right, see me upon Instagram. Yeah. See she upon IG. Right. All right. Go in our inbox. Them already see what them for say, right? You already look like you're wayward. Going at them inbox. And then before you know it, from there, you end up in the company of adults who have no good intentions for you as a child. Right. So it's to that level he speaks when he says. But as far as this goes, if you're found guilty of actually recruiting a child into a gang, your sentence will be 20 years. That's it. No arguing it. And if it is done, proven to be done in the vicinity of a school or any educational institution, there'll be an extra 10 years added to that. That's 30 years. And like I said, it's 30 years and you never kill nobody. One thing to talk this law, and next thing to have it done. Now, on top of that, that's for the adults, right? That's for the adults. 20 years minimum sentence for children who commit murder. That's the other part. Because what they're realizing is, just like back in the day when I was growing up in Miami, I used to hear man say, yo, send the youth go do it because he underage, right? And if them catch him, he's just gonna go to juvenile hall and then get let out. And by the time he reach 18, when you get to 18, They wipe your record clean so it doesn't follow you into adulthood. So they used to, that would be an incentive for them to send the little youth them. And of course, the little Buminal them well want prove themselves. So send me, send me. I could run fast, I could shoot, I could jump, I could roll, tuck, run, this, that, and the other. I move fast, send me. Education and Youth Minister Fable Williams has chastised lawmakers for being too soft on the sentencing of people who commit murder, including children who are ages 14 to 17. That's the window. Remember, you could be charged as an adult as early as 12. 14 to 17, 20 years. Williams made this admonishment as she voiced her disagreement with the majority of the legislators who have accepted this proposal that children convicted of capital murder should serve a mandatory minimum of 20 years in prison before they are even eligible for parole. Could you believe that majority of the legislators have accepted this proposal, and a lot of them are saying that is too much? Draw the line right there. So, if you have a 15-year-old commit murder, he knows he's going to be out in less than 20 years. Right. She now is of the view that this sentence is too lenient. Not 20. She said, let's go with 30. She argued that the age of 14 to 17, a child is on the doorsteps of being an adult, and a child should know right from wrong by the time they're 14 to 17. So it's not like, oh, they're such a little child that they didn't know what they were doing. They know what they're doing. Punish them like they know what they're doing, and let them be an example to all the other 14 to 17-year-olds. That's her approach. She does not agree with the 20. She wants it moved to 30. This matter of minimum sentencing for children, it falls under the Child Care and Protection Amendment, which is being reviewed by the Joint Elect Committee of Parliament at the moment. Speaking at the committee meeting on Tuesday, Williams said that while the figure for children in the range of 14 to 17 who commit capital murder may seem like a small percentage, remember though, it's what it is today. We don't know 5 years, 10 years down the line what it will be. And we continue to be very soft in our sentencing of people who have committed heinous crimes in this country. You cannot imagine the pain of a parent who has lost her daughter because the child in this age range brought a implement to school, stabbed the child, and killed the child. And we're sitting here being really, really, really soft and not sending a strong message that we are not going to tolerate this type of crime in the country. All it does is give the other little kids incentive. Well, John stab up Marcus, them give him 10 years. John did a 15. He might come out by the time I'm 25. Remember us. Hey you, me stab you up and go to prison now. Don't play with me. Right. That person may well never see the road again. In response to the chairman of the committee, Delroy Chuck, he said the committee has agreed that the sentence for capital murder for children can be life imprisonment or 50 years if you are between the ages of 14 and 17. That person may well never see the road again. If them get life or 50 years, they may not see road again. Well, at least until they are about 64, if them get life. What parole offers that after 20 years or 30 years, as you suggest, that they are a different person from when they entered the prison, that they could be allowed to continue their sentence up to 50 years if they got the determinate sentence, or if they continue the rest of their life serving their sentence in the community. Parole. Chuck further noted that at the time, should they breach the parole conditions, then they would immediately be returned back to the prison. So what she's saying is no parole, no nothing. Straight 30, no parole. And he's saying, boy, if you do that, like you're gonna mash up the picnic them kind of thing. We have to put parole in there because if them change over the course of doing their time, then we can let them out and say, okay, go do the rest of your time outside in the community, but under parole supervision. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I'm riding with the lady that said 30 straight, no parole. 14 to 17, 30 straight, no parole. And this is why I said this. I say this because I don't know if you ever tried to talk to a 14 to 17-year-old Jamaican youth that's gone the wrong way yet. I hear gun finger talk and big man, bad man talk and yo, elder. Never not try to hear all that right now, you know what I say? Yo, so the thing set me G and blah, blah, blah. And them don't really care what you have to say to them. So if nobody can reach you because you've made up your mind that you're unreachable between 14 and 17, you know where you are though. You've consciously made that choice. So once we show you all this stuff, man, I'm gonna ride you in the dog. Once we show you so the people them are gonna mix up the food and search it up before you get to eat it. Once we show you all the negatives and you still choose that 30 minimum. No parole, no nothing. You can't break it. You have to do 30 straight, and then they will start to consider you for parole and probation. After all, the message that needs to be sent is you took a life. In all your anger and ignorance, you took a life. I know some things might have happened to you in the past yourself, cause hurt people, and you never got help for it and all this contributing factors, but you took a life and you were sensible enough to know what taking a life is and the ramifications that it causes. You've seen many other mothers cry, fling down themselves on the ground and bawl. All almost have heart attack, them have to carry them, go to hospital, go medicate them after losing a child. You've seen trauma. You see casket drop. You've seen all these things, and you still chose to go take a life. 30 minimum. You have a lot of time to think about it, and since you're full of whatever you're full of, and nobody can talk to you, we want to put you in a place among people who have the same mindset as you. Hopefully, you come out okay. Now, inside of the prisons, we could add to it some kind of rehabilitative program. That's a whole nother story. Don't just dash them in there, because all is going to happen is they're going to come out better criminals than they went in, for a lot of them. If you have no skill trade going on in there teaching, if you have no rehabilitative program going on in there teaching, like anger management, behavioral um uh management programs going on in there, you're gonna have them coming out worse than they went in. You can't just have church and baptize in there, cause that them having there. Baptize and church, and then yeah, you become a good guy. He said, Chuck says, why I would favor a lesser term, because remember, for adults, we have said, even if you get parole, it's not before 40 years. That's the new one. In case y'all didn't know. Covered this before, right? That's the new one. Even if you get parole as an adult, after this, it's not before 40 years. But for a child, at the tender age of 14 to 17, we hope say within 20 years, you are a different person. So we don't really see the need to go to 30 years for the child. But they took a life though, Chuck. They took a life. It always baffles me how the person who did the killing, like the law in Jamaica is more willing to massage the killer as and not give concern to the victim and the victim's family. No matter how many years you serve, the person who you took their life, they're never coming back. And their parents, their families will have to live with that. So why should you get the luxuries of go do a little time and come back out and get back to life as usual? You should be made to remember this for the rest of your life. Crystal G says, all I know is that hard labor should be added to sentence. Let them actually go to work. And that's one of the things that we did put on the list before. Because Missy Beer, you're sentenced to hard labor 20 years. Judge slams the gavel. Next thing, Missy man dress up in there in a clocks and all white and look like, a black party are going and these things. I'm saying, if them did a Brock Rockstone on a manual road, or if them if them was doing some hard work, clean up the place and these things. They have it here in Florida. If you're driving down the highway in Florida, don't be surprised you see prisoners out. You'll have a couple of officers around, some on horses, some in vehicles in case anybody try run. And then walk the highway and pick up garbage and clean up the city and all these things. So why they can't do that in Jamaica? Somebody said, no, SouFlo, Jamaica is not America. Them can't do that because them gunman brethren, we hear say them out there and they will come with their high-powered rifles, shoot down the police them, and end up take with the youth and him escape. Yeah. Why don't they do that in the US? And we have more guns here in the US and more access to more guns here in the US, but nobody tries it. Why? When you find the answer to that, say it can be done in Jamaica as well, right? Donna Davis says, if you don't have consequences for what you have done, then you will continue to do it. Absolutely. And that's the problem. The youth, them don't have no consequences to what they're doing, so they don't give a damn. And now, if the judge says 20 years, that is where he starts from. Then him take off 5 because you plead guilty, so you end up with 15. Then he considers, I'm telling you how it goes, then he considers rehabilitativeness. They have an assessment of the individual and say, boy, before him do that, him did go school still, and is a youth that talk in sentences and articulates himself very well. Come from a decent family, look like too. So I think he's still rehabilitatable. Them take off a next 5. Now you're down to 10. That is why starting at 20 is so low, because that person ain't doing more than 5 to 10 for a life. That's the incentive you give to the other youths. That's not a deterrent. That's an incentive. Our last one for the morning now. We're going to cover this real quick. Hang on. Beachy Stout trial. The last time we spoke about the Beachy Stout trial was talking about the witness who said Beachy gave him the bottle with the acid in it and told him, see my wife there under the hairdresser, something. That's something that blow dryer, the dryer or whatever, go under. And said, burn her up right there so while she under it, right? All right. And I said to you, the audience, I said they're going to have to prove that, because if they can't prove it, it's just an accusation. Can't send people go to prison based on accusation without proof. Not somebody like Beachy, who have all these lawyers. We have 3 or 4 lawyers. So where's the cop that this guy said he told the cop and gave the cop the bottle? We're going to follow on. Beachy Stout trial. The cop says witness refused to give statement on acid incident out of fear. A senior police officer who said that he was made aware, remember the man said, him tell him, police brethren, right. A senior police officer now testified that he was made aware of an aborted attempt to douse Tanya Mcdonald with acid, said that he did not record the incident. The man complaining to him, he never made a record of it, because the man who was contracted by Beachy, allegedly, was in fear for his life. I'll tell you right now, Beachy's lawyers are going to tear that apart right there. You are a police officer. A man come to you and tell you, say, The brother contract me to kill him wife just now. Here is the bottle of acid where him give me. Take this from me. The same glass bottle with the gold top. Here, officer, hold it. I true me know you from long time still why me I tell you this still enough squaddy. But I me go for kill her, but me go for burn her up today, you know. And when me look upon her and see how pretty she is, me I said to myself, so I couldn't do that. I couldn't destroy that beauty there. Remember that's what he said, right? Okay. And I said, where's the officer? Here's the officer. The officer comes to court and says he did not record the incident because the man who said he was contracted to burn her up was in fear of his life. Was in fear of his life. When since did that become a reason to not record that you were he was in fear of his life? See, now you just gave his lawyers room to run all, you know what? Because it never happened. That's why. You bring your police friend in here to come lie on your behalf. So it's a concerted effort to have to get Mr. Mac into prison. You, sir, you did this on your own because you confessed that you was getting something from her, and you confessed that you did fall in love with her, and you confessed that she was the woman of your dreams and you loved her so much, and how you hug her up after you kill her. That man never tell you nothing about kill his wife. You don't have any proof. I'm still waiting on the voice note. Remember, I know I'm saying give them voice note too. I thought the officer was gonna come with something recorded and come with the bottle with the acid. I said, see the bottle here just as he described it. The policeman testifying in the murder trial of Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout Mcdonald and his co-accused Oscar Barnes. The detective corporal, who has 35 years of service under his belt, told the Home Circuit Court during cross-examination by one of Beachy Stout's attorneys, John Jacobs, that the witness refused to give a statement. So the man come and tell us the man planned to kill his wife and want him to burn her up the bottle of acid. But that wasn't enough to write out what you were told. You still tell him say you want an official statement. Him said, no, me not give no statement. Me I run from around here, so I'm afraid of that man there. The prosecution's fourth witness told the court that Mr. Mcdonald gave him $60,000, right, to purchase black acid. Use that $60,000, you're going to get the black acid, bring it back. The witness who was convicted in 2023 in relation to another case, told the court that he has informed his police friend of the aborted attempt before leaving Portland. So he was convicted in 2023 of another case that have nothing to do with Beachy. Here goes Beachy's attorney again. So you's a career criminal. Yeah. And you convicted in another case. And what did they tell you? Them tell us if you testify against Beachy and make up a story, then we give you a lenient sentence. You get out earlier. Y'all see where this is going? But Mr. Jacobs, the attorney, in an attempt to discredit the police officer, suggested to the cop, you did not record the information anywhere, sir, because there was no black acid, sir. Where is the bottle? He described a glass bottle with a gold top. Him saying give to you. Where's the? Remember, I told y'all that this is what was gonna happen, right? See it here. Where is the bottle? The lawyer looked at the officer and said, you didn't make no statement. You know why? Because it never happened. That's why. Where's the bottle? Where's the acid? Where's the black acid? The cop explained to the court that if he had a statement from the witness, he would have had the black substance in the bottle tested at a lab. He would have had to have got it tested by a lab. Mr. Jacobs suggests further that the cop and the officer assigned to the major investigation divisions, y'all fabricated this story to bolster the case. I didn't read this before I came to y'all this morning. This is stuff I've said to you before. I said this is where it's going, right? See there? The officer show up with nothing. Didn't record nothing, sir. The reason why I didn't record it because him say him did afraid for him life, sir. That's not a part of your job, officer. All right then. Him say him give you the buckle. Where's the acid? Oh, you don't have that neither. Okay, you know why you don't have it? You don't have it and you don't have a statement recorded because watch this, officer. It never happened. That's why. it never happened. This is the lawyer's word. Mr. Jacob suggests further that the cops and the officers assigned to the major investigation, the whole of UNO, assigned to the major investigation division, fabricated this story to bolster this case against my client, Mr. Mcdonald. The cop was left just insisting, sir, I'm telling you the truth. It's the truth me I tell. Hello, officer. As an officer of 35 years on the force, you know damn well you can't go into court and talk about, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Where's the proof? Where is the proof? It's supposed to come with a proof. You don't have no proof. Live on the air with SouFLo. Good morning. Hello. Live on the air with SouFLo. That sounds like somebody pocket dial with, man. In the meantime, the police witness who admitted that neither of the two statements he gave to the police on August 18th and on August 20th in 2020 contained a declaration confirming that he was telling the truth, said the issue should be taken up with his colleagues who recorded the statement or the investigating officers, not me. During the more than 30 minutes that was spent grilling this police witness, defense attorney John Jacobs asked him if the police procedure to submit statements without the declaration, is that your procedure? Is that how you guys handle business? The witness agreed that it was in fact police procedure to declare that the information contained in a statement is the truth. Mr. Jacobs suggested that the officer failed to make the declaration because the statement was fabricated. How come you never make the declaration that it is the truth? Till now. Now y'all come say it's the truth. Because it was fabricated. That's why. Meanwhile, the prosecution's fourth witness, before completing his testimony, asserted that Everton Beachy Stout Mcdonald is a criminal. Him say is a criminal who know a look pan. At the time, he was being cross-examined by one of Mr. McDonald's attorneys, John Paul Hamilton, the witness who claimed he traded motor vehicles for more than 20 years, admitted that he knowingly conducted business with criminals. You see how the law, you see how the law and them time up. So what is your line of work, sir? I trade cars. How long have you been doing that, sir? 20-something years. All right. Good. Is it a fact that you have conducted business with known criminals on multiple occasions? Yes, sir. Credibility shot. Worse, them not have no proof. The police come with only too long hand and mouth. The witness who claimed he traded motor vehicles for more than 20 years admitted that he knowingly conducted business with criminals. Mr. Hamilton asked the convict whether he had assisted the police with investigation into criminal matters. The witness responded, I have to work with the police. So if me have to assist, then me have to assist. But Mr. Hamilton suggested to him that he collected the money to purchase acid despite knowing what it was going to be used for. The witness responded that his actions were all about making some money. At the time, we didn't only want to make some money, so I take the 60,000 from him to go get the acid. But you know, remember him say, When me see her, me just couldn't burn her up. Mr. Hamilton, the lawyer, explained to the witness why he called him a criminal, at which point the witness responded and said, Bota uno, you, lawyer, and your client, him, Beachy, uno a criminal. We all know that Mr. Everton Beachy Stout is on trial for the 2020 murder of his second wife, Tanya Mcdonald. And the case continues, and we will have some more about this case coming up. A convicted killer on Tuesday testified that he informed businessman Everton Beachy Stout McDonald moments after his wife had been killed that it's finished. And he replied, good. So he went to court now, and this is back to Bobla. Him say, me call him, and me tell him, say, it's finished. Those are the words I used. And his response was, good. He continued his testimony in a circuit court where McDonald and his co-accused Oscar Barnes are on trial. Let's skip past the part Dessa. He recounted how he ran from the fiery and bloody murder scene after kneeling down beside and hugging Tanya as she bled out to death, and he wanted to help her because he loved her and this is the woman of his dreams and he was so in love with her and all that. But he had to go deliver the news to the boss as soon as possible. Because the boss did say, let me know soon as it's done. The incarcerated witness disclosed that he had lured the woman to her death under the guise that he was going to go collect a gun that she was seeking to buy. The trial previously heard this, which you guys know, that the woman had asked him for a gun, to purchase a gun for her because she wanted to use it to avenge the death of her father. However, Minot again in court said, but Beachy already tell me say him responsible for our father death. The witness testified that when he went to the 68-year-old businessman, Mr. Beachy Stout, to inquire about the payment for the hit, because it was now done, time for pay up, boss. McDonald looked at him and said, you think I saw $3 million easy for work? While mentioning past events. You think I saw $3 million easy for work? I told him, I said, come on now, man, a time now, because him did a pressure me to do the work, and me eventually do it. So a time now, pay up. The convict, who is serving 19 years and 10 months for his role in her murder, previously told the court that he was offered $3 million to murder the wife, but he subcontracted Barnes to do it instead because him is no expert at using a knife to stab up nobody. And since Bossman said he wanted her stabbed to death, him go find an expert who know better how to do that better. And after them do it, him contact him tell him, say it's done. Him say, good. So him show up in person. Him say, all right, time for pay up now. The man laugh and say, you think I saw $3 million easy to walk? Yo, may I laugh? I'm not supposed to be laughing, but I'm laughing. Going back to the night of Tanya's murder, Minor testified that he watched as Barnes held her by the neck from behind and stabbed her multiple times in the chest, and she cried out for her mother. The autopsy showed she was stabbed 10 times in the chest. Minor testified that on the day of the murder, he and Tanya had picked up Barnes in his car in Port Antonio, and they made their way to Sherwood Forest under the guise that he was going to go pick up a gun up there, the gun she's been longing for. He said Barnes guided Tanya along past the houses and street lights before instructing her to stop and turn the car around. Minot said that she complied and she turned off the headlight and she left the light on inside of the car. He further told the court that he exited the front passenger seat, leaving Tanya in the driver's seat, and Barnes was seated right behind her. And as he was leaving, he recalled her saying, where y'all go left me? You know, see road ya dark so. Minot said that he went into the lane and he was about 4 feet from the car. And then he saw when Barnes stepped out of the car before putting his foot back inside of the car to trick her, like say he might go get out too, but he was right behind her, right? Minor 2 was granted permission to step outside of the witness box and to demonstrate Barnes's actions as he remembered them happening. So them tell him, come down off of the stand up right here, so show us exactly how you see Barnes do it, what you see him do. Rotted. Then said, then him grab her round the neck from back way, and she start bawl out. She shouted out, "Me want me mother." And then me see blood start spill out her. After Barnes let her go, the witness said he exited the car and locked the door. Now, remember his first testimony of this same incident? Remember him say how she fight? So she fight so much, she fight till she end up in the back seat with him. You see the second testimony now? She never end up in a no back seat. Him hold her around the seat, him stab her, we see blood a fly, she ball, she want her mother, and then him get out of the car and lock the door, leave her in there. Two different testimony of the event that happened. Barnes let her go, the witness said, and then he exited the car and him locked the door with her in there. He said Barnes then returned and pulled the door, and then Tanya fall out of the car onto the road from the back. Oh, see, he said it now though. From the back seat. So how that man talk so? Him grab her from the front, him was in the back, grab her from behind, stab her, blood fly, and him come out and lock the door. Or did she, after she gets stabbed up, she crawl going at the back seat? He says, I didn't know what to do. Asked how Tanya got to the back. He explained that while Barnes was stabbing her, she was kicking and wrestling. Okay, see it here. She was kicking and wrestling, and during the encounter, she ended up in the back seat. After noticing that she was no longer talking or moving, and concluding that she was dead, Minot said he tried to leave, but Barnes pulled a gun upon him. Where I go? Rotted. Minot said he then told Barnes that he was going home, and saw when he pulled a bottle from his pocket, threw the contents of the bottle into the car, and set the car ablaze. Minot said that he ran off and left Barnes there. Explaining why Barnes reportedly lit the car, Minot said that Mcdonald had told him that he wanted the car to be burnt so that he could file for insurance claims on the car as well. After running away from the scene, Minot said that he saw a police car and him tried to stop the police car to inform them what just happened, but the car just drive past and them wouldn't stop. The next morning, he confessed to a friend, and then he went to the police station the very next morning because he was feeling uncomfortable about the situation. But when he reached the police station, he changed his mind and he left. According to the witness, he remained in constant contact with Beachy in the 2 weeks following the murder, but still was never paid another penny. He said that he only received a banger phone and a promise that he would soon be paid. In the meantime, Minot disclosed that he had placed a memory chip in that phone and that it automatically recorded a conversation that he had with Mcdonald, and he will continue his testimony today. Now, when he continues his testimony today, that is when they are going to get into what is on that phone, hopefully. Let's see what the phone says, because anyhow, the conversation is there. It's done. Good. That's not going to be enough. You better have something else on there that says, me kill her, all right, good, or something. I want you to kill her or something. If not, and all you hear is it's done, good, that could mean anything. Me send him go down so I go pick up something from the market from the grocery store. Me tell him say, if he call me and tell me when it's done or when him get the stuff them. Him call me and tell me say him get the things them. Me say good. That's it. You see that? I don't believe that he did that for nothing either, Karen notice, but is what you can prove in court. That way. Now, people, y'all know that wifey goes to the gym. Y'all can go over on Shakira's Sphere and check out her things, what she has going on over there. That's the wife's channel. SPHERE, Shakira, Shakira Sphere. And check out Fear thing. But me I go come off of this right now. I said it already, I'm gonna say it again. I'm still not seeing how or where Beachy is gonna be doing any long time in a prison. So far, his attorneys have this sewed up, and so far, the witnesses have not made things any better. Yeah. So we'll stay tuned, and I'll catch you right here tomorrow morning. God spare we life. Walk good. Have a wonderful day. Be good. And don't forget, karma never misses an address, my friend, and it's real. All right? One love. I'm out. Peace.